I'm Ryan F9 and my job is to exhibit motorcycle transformations, like when we took a busted up Honda Rebel and made a unicorn dual sport.
So what will we make of Graham's Vulcan 900 that's been binned 4 times?
All I know is getting sued for copyright infringement is no joke down here, so remember, Graham has no idea that we're not about to pimp his ride.
FortNine. Marco FortNine. Your little bike is almost crashed. Take a chance and call FortNine. FortNine.
My name is Graham. I'm 25. I've had this Kawasaki 900 Vulcan S for about 6 years now. Right up here, a little bit of damage. My father crashed into a deer a few years ago.
Moose walks out in front of the road and I start laying on the brakes and Graham just whack into the back of my head. Scared the crap out of me.
Most of the damage that's all up front, including this headlight here, all the rashes on the handlebars, that's all from my brother.
I was going over paint and there was a little bit of oil on it. Locked up the rear, slid it out from under me.
The last few little dents and everything on the tank and on the exhaust here is just from me not having enough experience for the kind of conditions I was riding in.
Jagged metronome of typewriter keys. A simple thought brings you to me. And I'm thankful every day.
Hey, how's
Ryan,
it going?
nice to meet you.
Pleasure, Ryan. Graham.
You got a bike somewhere here for me?
Yeah, I do. It's in the garage right over there. I'll open up the door.
They're nice looking things, eh?
We sort of always joke that they're like Harley Davidsons because they're not, but they kind of are, you know, like they kind of hide like a radiator in there, and so they have liquid cooling, and I think they're overhead camshafts. It's like a little more performance. Yeah, bigger bore and
It revs a
stroke.
little bit better, but you have all of that torque right off idle.
They can haul. They haul more than they look, right?
This obviously is not Kawasaki.
No. Is off, my brother-in-law got me this off of an old Ford. We built this little steel mounting plate for it.
Sick.
This just gets dragged on the ground.
Yeah, that's. I mean, a lot of them are just feelers. Like this is kind of a peg feeler. This is a peg feeler. I think this is kind of a feeler. Like when you scrape that, you know, like whoa, time to back off a little bit. 2015, you said, right?
Yeah, it's a 2015.
2015.
15,300 so miles.
15,300. So at this point, the crashing interval is like twice as frequent as the oil change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just about right.
Okay, Graham, thanks for trusting us with your beater.
I will make them feel right at home.
Thought I recognized this place.
When Graham sent me photos of his bike, there was one uncannily familiar. 5 years ago, we shot a review in this old nuclear plant. The engineering on display is brilliant. The power harnessed is immense. But a bad record of accidents meant that Satsop Nuclear Plant was abandoned before ever realizing its potential. It's giving me ideas for how we can add some safety nets to that old Vulcan. Help Graham's bike avoid the same fate.
Well, I mean, it would make it harder to tip over. Can we do that though?
Hello.
Hey, Greg, it's Ryan. I was wondering if I could pick your insurance agent brain on something.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you got?
So we've got my buddy Graham's Vulcan 900, and it has a lot of damage. So we're trying to make it shiny again, but also safer.
Oh, excellent. What safety things are you going to put on it?
That's the thing. We scored this Sidecar, and it is a legit 60s Ural built in Soviet orbits. You can see all the arc blow from the unstable electrical. It weighs like 1,000 pounds because they just kept building them off the Red Army plans. It's a cool piece of history, and it will refuse to roll over, but is adding that's okay?
You already know State Farm offers motorcycle insurance. Since you're restoring Graham's bike, have him reach out to a local State Farm agent and discuss policy options. Being that this is his dream bike, let's find him an insurance policy that fits his needs.
Okay, good to know. Thanks for firming that up for me. We're going pretty deep on the thing. Two-tone paint and Bob Fender's bars, the whole thing.
Well, it sounds like an amazing bike. I'd love to see it.
Sounds good, buddy. I'll give you a call when we're getting close.
Very good, thanks.
All right, thanks very much. Bye.
Hotter than a Sunday in June, a midsummer afternoon, hottest thing that I'd ever felt. Well, baby, gonna make my bottom melt.
As you'll remember, the last custom bike required a lot of fabrication. Thankfully, this time around, things will be much more straightforward because we're using this kit from Blue Collar Bobbers. Graham's a real cool kind of guy, and I know he's gonna love these low-profile aluminum fenders and Springer-style seats. The Vulcan 900 is what you'd call a soft-tail cruiser, meaning it has the look of a hardtail with no visible rear shocks or obvious swing arm, except it has both those things. The swing arm's right here, and it has a monoshock hidden up inside. It's an ideal setup for bobber builds because you get the hardtail look without the back pain. And you can mount the fender cunningly close to the tire without any fitment issues because you can mount it right to the swing arm. Oh. For the headlight, I've got this groovy 6 3/4 inch one, no pun intended, complete with a visor to fully realize that classic look. To match, I've got chrome tracker bars to replace the rust-spotted ones that Graham's brother Gage bent in when he hit the highway at 55 miles an hour.
Flesh. Ring so big you can't even see my face. Falling on a
So instead, Graham is getting this Cobra Speedster exhaust complete with power port, which, for those of you that are wondering, is this crossover right here. See, traditional thinking would have you believe that a true 2-into-2 system is for real bikers and a crossover is but Kawasaki designs the stock exhaust with a crossover, and I guarantee you they know what they're doing. Let me explain. In order for your engine to run optimally, you want as much oxygen-rich air in the combustion chamber as possible. But unfortunately, even in the most advanced engines, some amount of exhaust gas remains behind after each cycle. One of the ways to mitigate this is with exhaust scavenging. On engine designs with multiple cylinders, a crossover in the exhaust is used to connect the pipes together. This enables the system to utilize the low pressure zone behind each exhaust pulse, which works like a vacuum to suck out exhaust gas in the adjacent cylinder. Simply, any naturally aspirated engine with 2 or more cylinders and no crossover pipes is missing out on these performance benefits. With the bike more or less finished, not including the paintwork, it's time to look at getting this sidecar rigged up. It's a genuine 1960s Euro model, and you need only look at the welds to believe me. I bought it from this crazy guy named John, who assured me that I had everything I needed in this igloo cooler to get it mounted on my bike. Looking at what's included here, I don't even know how he had it attached to his VTX. I don't even want to know. There's not a matching bolt or matching anything here. Looks like fabricating's back on the menu. Four mount points are standard when installing a sidecar, 2 upper and 2 lower, and you can't just place them at random. The wheel of the sidecar should be 8 to 10 inches ahead of the rear wheel of the Vulcan. This is because when you turn left, the sidecar has to turn around the Vulcan, and when you turn right, the Vulcan has to turn around the sidecar. By strategically positioning the wheel here, it makes both gimped maneuvers slightly better. Another key adjustment is actually towing the sidecar in by about 1/2 inch. This way you're not constantly fighting it as it tries to pull away from the direction of travel of the motorcycle. This can be easily determined by placing a board on either side and measuring in front and behind. Additionally, by leaning the motorcycle out a couple of degrees, you counteract the natural lean in that occurs when a passenger boards the sidecar. Now, none of this is an exact science, and considering the fact that we're mounting a 200-pound steel extremity to our otherwise well-engineered motorcycle, well, it really shouldn't come as a surprise. Graham is a real artsy kind of guy, and that's a gift and a curse. On one hand, he spray paints custom longboards. That's cool. On the other hand, he gets overspray on his Kawasaki Vulcan. Not cool.
Acetone is the chemical weapon of choice to combat our Agent Orange overspray. It has enough strength to dissolve the rattle can paint, but not so much that it wipes out the factory finish beneath. Next is Motul E6 aluminum and chrome polish. It's clearly been ages since the Vulcan got this kind of treatment, but with a bit of work, the shine comes back nicely. The Pacific Northwest has really taken its toll, but thankfully the myriad of rust-speckled components can be cured with a generous application of rust remover. The active ingredient here is phosphoric acid, so be sure to wear gloves. I like to use an enamel-based spray paint to touch up small parts like this brake fluid reservoir cover, and I'm a firm believer in the one heavy coat methodology. The oxidization on the aluminum cooling fins is treated with some sandpaper, and then I go over the whole engine with S100 engine brightener. I really saved the best for last. This stuff is a cheat code. It uses heat-resistant pigments and bonding agents that soak into faded engine surfaces and restores the original black color. The chemicals cling to the metal and plastic, giving it a deep, factory-fresh look without being greasy. With all the underpinnings in order, it's time to paint prep. Now, thankfully, everything that's been damaged in the multiple crashes has been either permanently removed or replaced. The only exception being the gas tank, which has been dented to hell.
Call to the mountains, sitting across the bay. Morning comes always steadier than yesterday. I'll take the stillness and the sign to write a song about things we've done and things still to come. Flowers in the plenty, coloring in the view. Red sunburns late Sunday afternoon. Talking for hours about places we have gone, things we've done, things still to come.
It's finished. Wow.
The sidecar is too big for me to strip entirely, so I'm going to sand it down and paint over the original coat. It's held fast for 60 years, which gives me confidence, but has also led me to believe that the contents of this commie paint are probably best not breathed in, so I'm going to be limiting my exposure as best as possible.
Now that's what I call flying the chair.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. What am I looking at here?
That's one of those aftermarket radar systems. In our agency, we see a lot of rear enders. That product will actually warn the rider that someone's coming up behind them fast. It'll flash a light off their plate hanger.
Oh, thank you so much.
No worries. You know, with what you're building with that sidecar rig, I figured it made sense to put a digital safety net on it too.
Makes sense. With all the changes though, could that affect Graham's insurance coverage?
You know, it can. Graham would need to talk to a local State Farm agent to discuss the options and find out what customizations and upgrades are covered under his motorcycle insurance policy.
Okay, I'll let him know. We're getting pretty close, probably shooting the reel on Saturday if you want to come.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Sweet. Josh is just getting started on paint now, so we figure probably about 9-ish we'll get started.
It's 12:43. We're gonna call it a night. Tomorrow we're gonna put some clear coat on it. Yeah.
Been together for a long, long time. Time goes by so fast. Maybe it ain't been long enough to forget how it began. But I got a feeling inside of me, nothing's ever gonna be the same. Minutes, hours, years, and days, time goes by, but nothing's changed. I feel it that same way. 'Cause baby, I still love you like I used to. Way back in the day.
Okay, Graham. Okay. You remember your Thrash Vulcan?
Yes, I do.
I want you to keep that in mind when you look at your new rig. He has no idea there's a sidecar.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, this is the most action-y action, right?
Suspense was killing me. Okay, boys, ready?
Yes.
Oh my God. That's badass. Oh my God.
Jump on there, man. Fire it up.
Yeah, Graham, what do you think?
This is I had no idea that it was gonna come out like this. I mean,
it matches your shirt. Well, you
does.
told me your favorite color was lilac, so I was like, okay. Like, did you expect it to have this much lilac?
no, I was expecting it to be like, it came in black and green. I was expecting like the accent colors to be this. I wasn't expecting it to be in your face. And you guys went with something way more classic, something that's like a timeless look for it.
Yeah, that was sort of the direction we went with it. For example, this like marker light here, this is actually an Indian marker light.
Okay.
So this is basically an authentic Indian marker light that you would see on a 1940s Indian chief. And we've got this bobber kit on it, which is sort of a vintage look too, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I like the new back fender, how short, it feels more appropriate for the bike, honestly.
In theme of having everything kind of scaled down a bit, we actually got rid of the light bar off the front with the blinkers. And we've gone for these are actually pretty sweet. These have the integrated LED blinkers in the mirrors. Andy, and you like the pipes?
No, it sounds like a bike.
Yeah.
It sounds like a bike now.
Yeah, well, when Ryan and I were test riding it, you know, people would hear the bike and be like, "Oh, what's that?" And then, "Whoa, what is that?" You know, I've never seen something like that.
No, it reaches out. It demands attention. I was not expecting anything as loud as this, literally and figuratively.
This is the best part, right?
Okay.
So I know you had those saddlebags. They didn't survive the third crash, but it's not a problem because you actually have huge storage back here.
Actually, I can almost crawl in there.
Yeah, honestly, with the housing crisis, you could actually rent that out, or you could just put a lot of snacks. Like you're in the Pacific Northwest. There's probably some really scenic kind of routes, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you and Megan can go on some cool rides, or maybe when your daughter gets a bit older, you know.
That's probably putting my daughter in this is going to be the most exciting part about it, honestly.
That's pretty sweet.
Well, Graham, what do you think?
I'm excited to get this thing on the road.
It's a good looking bike, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, did you check this out?
Yeah, I saw this up here. I wasn't quite sure what it was.
That's a blind spot indicator. So this thing will sense when cars are coming around you and let you know that, not to shift lanes. And if somebody's moving in on you, it can help save you. In my agency, we see a lot of these accidents. And if a bike even bumps handlebars with the car, if it goes down, you end up with thousands, if not, tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage on a bike like this with this type of paint job. That could get really, really expensive fast. So just give your local State Farm agent a call. You can talk through policy and coverages, and you can find a plan that fits your needs.
Absolutely. Looking forward to taking good care of it.